Hello and welcome to this video on editing audio. In this video, you will learn how to use the editing tools to alter and clean up audio. Let's take a look at the main editing modes and tools available to us in Pro Tools. Pro Tools provides 4 edit modes: Shuffle, Spot, Slip, and Grid. The edit modes affect the movement and placement of audio and MIDI clips, the results of certain edit commands, and the functions of the edit tools. Each edit mode is useful for different purposes whilst editing. First, let's look at Shuffle. This mode allows you to shuffle the order of adjacent clips without adding space between them or having them overlap, and to remove unwanted parts without leaving gaps. This mode allows you to shuffle the order of adjacent clips without adding space between them or having them overlap, and to remove unwanted parts without leaving gaps. Use Shuffle mode to rearrange consecutive parts in your session, such as rearranging verses and choruses, and to shorten a performance by removing material. Slip mode allows you to place a clip anywhere on a track without affecting the placement of other clips, leaving space between clips or overlapping clips as desired. Use Slip mode to move or arrange the parts of your session freely and to place material anywhere on the timeline. Spot mode allows you to specify exact locations using numerical values when moving, placing, or trimming clips. Use Spot mode to move the parts of your session to specific known destinations. For example, you could move a clip to a specific bar or beat. Grid mode allows you to snap clips and MIDI notes to the nearest time increment on a grid, based on the currently selected grid increment and time scale. Use grid mode for precise timing by aligning parts using defined timing intervals. This is especially useful for aligning musical material to bar or beat locations. The edit tools are located in a cluster on the left side of the toolbar area at the top of the edit window. These tools provide access to various audio and MIDI editing functions, as well as basic functionality for positioning the playback or record location in a session. From left to right, the edit tools include the Zoomer tool, the Trim tool, the Selector tool, the Grabber tool, the Scrubber tool, and the Pencil tool. The Zoomer tool. You can use the Zoomer tool to zoom in and out of a particular area within a track. Zooming in is often helpful when you need to examine a clip or waveform closely. To use the Zoomer tool, select it and click on the desired point within a track where you want to zoom in. Each click zooms all tracks in by one level, with the edit window centered on the zoom point. To zoom in on a particular area in the edit window, click and drag with the Zoomer tool over the area you want to view. As you drag, a grey box will appear, indicating the range on which you will be zooming in. Release the mouse to fill the track display with the selected portion of the waveform. To zoom out, hold Option for a Mac or Alt for Windows while clicking with the Zoomer tool. You can double-click on the Zoomer tool to get a full track view that fills the edit window with the longest visible track in the session. The Trim tool. You can use the Trim tool to trim excess audio, MIDI, or video content from the beginning or end of a continuous section of program material or clip. The Trim tool modifies clips non-destructively, leaving the underlying source file unchanged. This tool allows you to quickly crop a clip or adjust a clip's boundaries to hide or expose underlying material. The first time you trim a clip, Pro Tools automatically adds a new item to the clip list corresponding to the newly created subset clip. The subset clip is given a new name to differentiate it from the original. The Selector tool. The Selector tool is one of the most commonly used functions in Pro Tools. You can use the Selector tool to position the playback cursor or to select an area in a track for playback or editing. To position the playback cursor, click with the Selector tool at the point where you want the playback to begin. To select an area for playback or editing, drag with the Selector tool across any area on one or more tracks. The Selector tool selects both horizontally and vertically, allowing you to create selections across multiple tracks in a single operation. Selected areas are represented with a dark highlight in the edit window. The selection range is also indicated by a dark overlay in the timeline display area at the top of the window. You can use the Selector tool with the Shift key to quickly make a lengthy selection as follows. 1. Click with the Selector tool to position the playback cursor where you want the selection to start. 2. Scroll to the desired endpoint using the scroll bar at the bottom of the edit window. 3. Shift and click at the desired endpoint to complete the selection. The Grabber tool. The Grabber tool is commonly used for arranging clips. You can use the Grabber tool to select an entire clip with a single mouse click. You can also use the Grabber tool to move a clip along the timeline within its current track and to move clips between tracks. To select a clip, click anywhere on the clip in the edit window using the Grabber tool. To move a clip along the timeline, click anywhere on the clip and drag to the left or right with the Grabber tool. Dragging a clip vertically with the Grabber tool will move the clip to another track in your session. The Grabber tool can be used to position clips in a variety of ways, depending on the edit mode that is currently selected. The Scrubber tool. The Scrubber tool can be used to scrub slowly across audio tracks in the edit window to find a particular moment or audio event. Scrubbing originated in tape editing as a process of rocking the tape back and forth past the playhead to locate a precise position, usually for the sake of performing a splice. By scrubbing back and forth over an audio waveform in Pro Tools, you can listen closely and zero in on an exact edit point. To scrub audio or MIDI in Pro Tools, click on a track in the edit window with the Scrubber tool and drag left or right to begin playback in either direction. Playback results will vary with zoom magnification. You'll find scrubbing to be smoother and more precise when you zoom in first to increase the magnification of the track material. The Pencil tool. The Pencil tool is commonly used for creating and editing MIDI data. The pencil can be used to add or draw notes of different pitches and varying durations. Different pencil tool shapes, freehand, line, triangle, square, and random, can also be used to edit note velocities. The pencil tool is also particularly useful for drawing and editing different types of automation or MIDI control data. Common examples include using line for volume, triangle for pan, or freehand for pitch bend. The Smart tool. The Smart tool can be enabled to provide instant access to the Selector, Grabber, and Trim tools without switching tools. This tool is active when the Trim, Selector, and Grabber are all selected. To activate the Smart tool, click on the bridge area above and surrounding the Trim, Selector, and Grabber tools. When the Smart tool is active, the position of the cursor in relation to the clip or note determines how the tool functions. To use the Smart tool as a selector, position the tool over the middle of an audio clip in the upper half. To use it as a grabber, position it in the lower half. For the Trim tool, position the Smart tool near the clip's start or end points. The Smart tool can also be used to create fade-ins, fade-outs, and crossfades by clicking in the upper left or right corners of a clip. Like most commercial applications, Pro Tools offers standard cut, copy, paste, and clear or delete commands. The Grabber tool and Selection tool allow us to use these commands. The Pro Tools duplicate and repeat commands also offer functionality similar to that found in other media applications. Pro Tools performs each of these editing functions non-destructively, meaning that the operations do not alter the original media files. Each of these commands can be performed on a single track or on multiple tracks simultaneously, depending on the selection or the clipboard contents. Edits can apply to the following material: part of a clip or parts of multiple clips, selected with the Selector Tool, a whole clip or multiple whole clips, selected with the Grabber tool. Selections can cross multiple clip boundaries and include entire clips or partial clips, and can even include silence if desired. When you use any of these editing commands on audio selections within a clip or clips, Pro Tools creates byproduct clips and automatically adds them to the clip list. The Cut command. Using the Cut command, you can remove selected material from its current position and place it on the clipboard to be pasted elsewhere. To cut a selection and place the material on the computer's clipboard, do the following. 1. Make a selection of any length on a single track or multiple tracks. Choose the Edit menu and then Cut, or press Command and X on a Mac or Control and X on Windows. The selected audio and/or MIDI data will be removed from the original location and copied to the clipboard. Be aware that when you cut or clear a selection in shuffle mode, all audio to the right will slide over by the amount of time removed so that no gap remains. The Copy command. The Copy command is much like the Cut command, but instead of removing the selected range, it leaves the original and places a copy of it on the clipboard so that you can paste it elsewhere. To copy a selection, do the following. 1. Make a selection of any length on a single track or multiple tracks. 2. Choose the Edit menu and Copy, or press Command and C for a Mac or Control and C for Windows. The selected audio and/or MIDI data will be copied to the clipboard. When you place a selection on the computer's clipboard using a Cut or Copy command, you replace any material previously stored on the clipboard. The Paste command. Using the Paste command, you can insert the contents of the clipboard at a location that you have chosen with the Selector tool. You can paste data only after something has been cut or copied to the clipboard. To use the Paste command, do the following. 1. Select the desired paste destination, placing the cursor or insertion point on the desired destination track or tracks at the location where you want the start of the paste to occur. To paste on multiple tracks, you must make an insertion point or selection on each of the desired destination tracks. 2. Choose the Edit menu and Paste, or press Command and V for a Mac or Control and V for Windows. The material on the clipboard will be pasted in, beginning at the selected start point. If the clipboard contains material from multiple tracks, the data will be pasted starting with the topmost track. The selected destination tracks will be filled from top to bottom. To paste data immediately after a clip, use the Tab key with the Tab to Transients function turned off to place the cursor exactly at the clip's end. The Clear command. The Clear command allows you to remove any selected material without placing it on the clipboard. To clear a selection, do the following. 1. Make a selection of any length on a single track or multiple tracks. 2. Choose the Edit menu and Clear, or press Command B for a Mac or Control B for Windows. This command has the same result as pressing the Delete key on the keyboard. The Duplicate command. The Duplicate command makes a copy of any selected material and places it immediately after the end of the selection. This command provides a quick way to repeat a selection, extend a sound, or create a simple looping effect. It is faster and more convenient than copying and pasting data to achieve the same result. To duplicate audio or MIDI data, do the following. 1. Make a selection of any length and content on one or more tracks. Step 2 is an optional step. You can play the selection using the loop playback to ensure that it plays smoothly in succession. If the selection plays smoothly when it loops, you can duplicate it without creating an audible edit point. 3. Adjust the selection as needed to create a smooth loop transition. You might want to zoom in to position the start and end of the selection on a zero crossing point, a point of no amplitude in the waveform. 4. After you are satisfied with the selection, choose the Edit menu and duplicate, or press Command and D for a Mac or Control and D for Windows. The selection will be duplicated and pasted at the end of the selected area or clip. The Repeat command. The Repeat command is similar to Duplicate, but it allows you to specify the number of times the selected material will be duplicated. To repeat a selection of audio or MIDI data multiple times, do the following. 1. Make a selection of any length and content on one or more tracks. 2. Choose the Edit menu and repeat, or press Option and R on a Mac or Alt and R on Windows. The Repeat dialog box will open. 3. Enter the desired number of repeat iterations and click OK. The selected material will be duplicated in succession immediately following the selection's endpoint, as specified in the Repeat dialog box. Pro Tools includes a number of editing commands that are specific to the needs of audio and MIDI production. The following sections introduce commands for separating clips and restoring separated clips. The Separate Clip command. Separating a clip is the process of breaking a clip in two or separating a selection as a new, independent clip. You can separate a clip for one of several purposes. The first of these is to split a clip into two separate clips at the insertion point. You can use this to divide a source clip into two new clips on a track, adding both to the clip list. Another reason to separate a clip is to separate a selection from a parent clip or from the material on either side. You can use this process to create a clip from a selection, creating new byproduct clips on either side. And lastly, you can separate a clip to create multiple new clips from a selection, dividing the selection at grid intervals or at transients. Use this process to slice up a clip at grid lines or transient locations within the clip. When you separate clips, you create byproduct clips from the material on either side of the selection. These new byproduct clips appear on the track and in the clip list with new edit numbers appended to their names. To separate a clip, do the following. 1. Make a selection of any length within a clip or across multiple clips, or place the cursor, the insertion point, at the location where you want a split to occur. 2. You can then create a separation at the insertion point or selection boundaries by choosing the Edit menu and then Separate Clip at Selection, or press Command and E on a Mac or Control and E on Windows. To create separations at each grid boundary or transient, choose the Edit menu, Separate Clip, On Grid or at Transients, respectively. The Pre-Separation Amount dialog box will open. 3. Enter the pre-separate amount in the dialog box if needed, and click OK. This specifies the amount of pad time Pro Tools will include in the new clips before each grid boundary or transient point. Pro Tools creates new clips based on the selection's start and end points. If the on-grid or at transients option is chosen, additional clips will be created within the selection at each grid line or transient point. All resulting new clips will have the next available edit number appended to the end of the original clip name. The Heal Separation command. If you've separated a clip and you later decide to undo the separation, you can repair the clip and restore the original unedited material using the Heal Separation command. The Heal Separation command works across separated clip components, provided that the pieces are contiguous and their relative start and end points haven't changed since the separation. To heal a separation between two or more contiguous clips, do the following. 1. Create a selection across the separation points that you wish to repair. Choose the Edit menu and then Heal Separation, or press Command and H for a Mac or Control and H for Windows. Moving and trimming clips. In this section of the video, we'll be looking at techniques for moving and trimming clips and discuss the effects of the edit modes on these operations. We'll also look at the nudge function along with the process of setting the nudge value, using the grabber tool. The grabber tool can be used to drag a clip from the clip list or from an existing location on a track. You can drag a clip to a different location within the same track or to a different track. Moving clips in slip mode. In slip mode, you can move clips freely using the grabber tool. You can place clips so that they overlap or so that they have space between them on a track. During playback, you will hear silence in any open areas. To move a clip in slip mode, do the following. 1. Select the grabber tool. The cursor will change to a hand icon when placed over a track playlist. 2. Click on the clip and drag it to the desired destination. A preview of the clip will appear as you drag it. 3. Release the mouse to position the clip. Moving clips in grid mode. When using the grabber tool in grid mode, moving and dragging clips is constrained by the current grid setting as configured in the grid value pop-up menu. To move a clip in grid mode, do the following. 1. Verify that the grid value has been set as desired. 2. Select the grabber tool. The cursor will change into a hand when placed over a track playlist. 3. Click and drag the clip to the desired destination. A preview of the clip will appear on the track, snapping to each successive grid line as you drag the clip. 4. Release the mouse to position the clip. Moving clips in shuffle mode. In shuffle mode, clip movement is constrained by other clips. When you move a clip, it automatically snaps to an adjacent clip. You can shuffle the clip order, but you cannot leave space between clips or overlap them. To move a clip in shuffle mode, do the following. 1. Select the grabber tool. The cursor will change into a hand icon when placed over a track playlist. 2. Drag a clip to the desired destination. The clip preview will snap between the start and end points of existing clips on the track as you drag. 3. Release the mouse to position the clip. Adjacent clips will reposition themselves as needed to accommodate the clip and to close up the space left after its point of origin. Moving clips in spot mode. Spotting is the process of placing clips at known time locations within your tracks based on exact timescale units, such as minutes and seconds, bars and beats, or a SMPTE timecode. To move and place a clip in spot mode, do the following. 1. Select the grabber tool. The cursor will change into a hand icon when placed over a track playlist. 2. Click on the desired clip on a track or drag it from the clip list. The spot dialog box will appear. 3. Choose the desired timescale from the timescale pop-up menu. 4. Enter the new location in either the start or end field and click OK. The clip's start or end point will align to the specified location. Using the trim functions. Clips can be trimmed using either the trim tool or the trim command. The trim functions allow you to shorten or lengthen clips as desired by trimming their heads or tails. The trim tool. The trim tool can be used to dynamically adjust the length of a clip. By trimming the head or tail of an audio clip, you can eliminate unwanted material that precedes or follows any audio that you want to retain. To trim a clip, do the following. 1. If needed, use the zoomer tool to zoom in on the area that you want to trim. 2. Click the trim tool. 3. Position the cursor over the audio clip you want to trim. The cursor will change to a left trim shape or a right trim shape on either side of the clip's midpoint. The trim tool must be placed within a clip to be active. You cannot click outside of a clip and drag into it to trim the clip. 4. Click the cursor in the front half to trim the clip start or in the back half to trim the clip end. Click and drag to adjust the trim location in either direction. 5. Release the mouse button at the desired location to complete the trim. To reverse the trim tool so that you can trim in the opposite direction without having to trim past the midpoint, press Option for a Mac or Alt for Windows before trimming a clip. The Trim Clip command in the Edit menu allows you to trim a clip to the boundaries of a selection or to trim a clip on either side of the insertion point. To use the Trim Clip command based on a selection, do the following. 1. Select the portion of a clip you want to retain. 2. Choose the Edit menu, Trim a Clip, and then to Selection. The portion of the clip outside the selection will be deleted. To use the Trim Clip command to clear audio preceding or following the insertion point, do the following. 1. Position the insertion point within a clip where you want the clip to start or end. 2. Choose the Edit menu, then Trim Clip, then Start to Insertion, or the Edit menu, Trim Clip, and End to Insertion to trim all audio before the insertion point or after the insertion point respectively. Creating fade effects. A fade is a steady volume ramp that you create on a clip boundary. Fades have many different applications, from smoothing out an edit to creating seamless clip overlaps to building volume fade-ins and fade-outs for music and sound effects. We'll now cover the process of creating simple fade-ins, fade-outs, and crossfades. Applying fade-ins and fade-outs. Fade-in and fade-out effects can be created at the beginning or end of any audio clip, using a selection that touches or crosses the clip boundary. Here are some basic guidelines for creating fades. Make your selection to match the desired fade. The length of the fade is determined by the selection length. Make your selection so that it touches or crosses an open clip boundary. Selecting across adjacent clips will create a crossfade. To create a fade-in, select from, at, or before the beginning clip boundary. To create a fade-out, select up to or across an ending clip boundary. Fade-ins always begin at the head boundary, and fade-outs always begin at the tail boundary. Extending a selection into a blank area beyond a clip's boundaries will not change the fade length. To create a fade, do the following. 1. Select the beginning or ending of a clip. You can shift-clip additional tracks to create fades on multiple tracks whose clips begin or end simultaneously. 2. Choose the Edit menu, then Fades, then Create, or press Command F on a Mac or Control F on Windows. If you have the Edit keyboard focus selected, you can simply press F. When using Command F or Control F, the corresponding fade-in or fade-out dialog box will appear. 3. Choose the desired settings in the dialog box and click OK. The fade will appear in the track playlist at the head or tail of the source clip. Applying crossfades. Pro Tools allows you to create crossfades between any two adjacent audio clips that have sufficient underlying audio in their parent audio files. Crossfading is essentially the process of overlapping two audio sources and fading out the first source while simultaneously fading in the second source. Pro Tools achieves this effect using the underlying audio on either side of the boundary between adjacent subset clips. Both clips must be subset clips with sufficient underlying audio to extend across the length of the selection. To create a crossfade between two adjacent clips, do the following. 1. Make a selection across the boundary between two clips. 2. Choose the Edit menu and then Fades and then Create, or press Command and F for a Mac or Control and F for Windows. If you have the Edit window keyboard focus selected, you can simply press F. If you press Command and F or Control and F, the crossfade dialog box will open. 3. Choose the desired settings in the Fades dialog box and click OK. If sufficient underlying audio is available, the crossfade will be applied and will appear in the track playlist. If either or both source clips lack sufficient underlying audio to generate a crossfade across the selection, a warning will display after you click OK in the Fades dialog box. The warning serves to alert you that the attempted crossfade is invalid. Clicking the Adjust Bounds button in this warning box will adjust the placement and length of the fade to fit the available audio from the incoming or outgoing clip. If insufficient audio is available to overlap the clips at all, no fade will be created. Fade settings. The fade dialog boxes display fade-in shapes in red and fade-out shapes in blue. Either shape can be changed by choosing from the presets in the shape drop-down selectors or by choosing between the standard or S-curve fade shapes using the radio buttons. The curve shapes determine how the amplitude of the clip's audio will change over the course of the fade. Undoing your work. Often, your editing tasks will involve performing a series of related steps to achieve a desired effect. Along the way, you might at times need to revert to an earlier point, either to start over or to do a before and after comparison. Fortunately, Pro Tools provides rich undo options that will give you the flexibility to work without constraints. Using multi-level undo. Multi-level undo operations make it possible to return to earlier stages of work during the editing process. This lets you work and experiment with confidence, knowing that you can back out of changes if you are not satisfied with the results. Pro Tools provides up to 64 levels of undo operations. All commands that are undoable are stored sequentially in an undo queue. However, certain commands cause changes that are not undoable. Any of these events will clear the undo queue. Some common actions that cannot be undone include the following: deleting tracks, closing a session and/or quitting Pro Tools, clearing audio from the clip list, and recording in destructive record mode. Using the undo and redo commands. To access the undo command, choose the edit menu and undo, or press Command and Z on a Mac or Control and Z on Windows. The undo command in the edit menu lists the action to be undone along with the command name. That's all for this video. If you have any questions, comments or concerns, you can email me on fred.hollingsworth@ncl.ac.uk.